Texans lose to the Falcons 21-19 on a last-second field goal. Let's get into the good, the bad, the ugly, and another live Texans postgame in the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube.
All right, Texans lose to the Falcons 21-19. Lot to get into. We'll hear what DeMeco Ryans has to say. We'll hear what CJ Stroud has to say. Texans fall to 2-3. Jacksonville improved to 3-2, which means the Texans will be on the bottom half of the AFC South standings. Appreciate you for coming through. If you're new, welcome. This is the place to get the pulse of what goes on with the Houston Texans. If you're returning, you already know that, and I appreciate you for coming through as well. Where do we start here? I would say that one of the themes of this game, and I think the thing that is you're gonna look at the box score and just kind of throw up, is the effectiveness in which Atlanta was able to throw the ball, specifically when they needed it the most. They had 351 yards passing the football. Now, some would say, is that really surprising? The Texans were depleted in the secondary. You didn't have Shaq Griffin. You didn't have Derek Stingley, and you didn't have Tavierre Thomas. So should you have expected that? I think it's a fair question to ask, but I will say one thing about this Texans team is I do think even at full strength, there's some vulnerability when it comes to intermediate passing, specifically with tight ends, et cetera. Kyle Pitts, he was able to get loose a little bit today. You saw some Drake London, a little bit of that action. It seems like every tight end on that Atlanta had was getting the job done in some way, shape, or form, or made a big play at some point. So I think that's where you start right there. The Texans' inability to stop the pass, and they were thin at DB with Griffin and Tavierre Thomas being inactive. As far as the biggest takeaways, I have 7 takeaways from this game, and we'll reset the big plays as well after we hear from DeMeco and CJ, who, by the way, broke Dak Prescott's record. CJ Stroud, most passes without an interception. Biggest thoughts from this game. Number one was the inability to run the ball early. Now, Bobby Slowick went to it at the end of the game, and I thought he actually had a really good series when the Texans took the lead. I thought that was a very, very good job play calling. But the inability for the Texans to really run the ball effectively. I know Mark Schlereth was saying he's more of a quantity guy instead of yards per carry guy. I guess they just don't run the ball very well. And my other assessment of this is, and I'm not saying that, this offensive line is overrated or anything like that, but did you really notice, like you guys have probably watched the last 3 games, including this one. Do you notice, like, when Laramie Tunsil, I guess Laramie Tunsil frees up Dalton Schultz, but with Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard in there, do you notice like a significantly different offensive line? Like, does it seem like it's just like that much better? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure you can factor in the Schultz factor if you want, and the fact that he's open, but I just don't see, when you're telling me you're investing 20% of your squad to those 2 guys and they come back. I didn't watch that game and say, wow, this CJ just looks so much more comfortable, and CJ's having to do so much less with these guys in there, and their inability to run the ball. And quite frankly, Dameon Pierce is doing everything he can do. He's out there scratching and clawing. I just don't really I don't understand Bobby Slowick said they weren't around. They needed to abandon the run, and then he kind of stuck with it till the end. Running the ball in the offensive line, just kind of head scratchers Thought number two, we already touched on it, the depleted secondary. This secondary is cooked. And it's not going to get much better until they start getting guys back. They need Shaq Griffin. They need Tavier Thomas. Right now, it's as depleted as the offensive line was as far as the corners. And you kind of saw that in this game. Thought three, and I guess you can kind of connect those things, the intermediate passing with the Texans, the defense. Now, I don't know how valuable Christian Harris is in these situations. We've seen him without Blake Cashman. They kind of seem to miss him. But the inability to stop tight ends is a really big problem for this Texans squad, like a really big problem. We'll hear from CJ Stroud shortly. DeMeco Ryans already spoke. We'll hear what he had to say. Thought number four, and I know this is kind of hard to believe, just, based on recency bias, but I thought the defense actually played good enough to win today, the Texans defense. Given the circumstances, given the fact that they were depleted, I actually thought that the defense was fine. At the end of the game, when you could kind of feel the momentum shifting, they were able to hold Atlanta to a field goal. So I actually thought, given the circumstances and given what you can realistically expect, because when I address these problems and I say, they have a depleted secondary and they can't stop the pass intermediately, I'm not going to then I'm not saying that that's something that they can control. Personnel wise, I just don't know if they have it. But I thought the defense was fine. I thought the defense held up when they needed to held up. And quite frankly, the offense, the Texans didn't convert their first third down till the final drive of the first half on the play in which Tank Dell ended up actually getting hurt, landing on his head. One of the bigger plays of the game, obviously in multiple ways now, but you move the change, you get the ball to Tank Dell, and he ends up leaving that. I mean, that was the first time that you'd converted a third down the entire game. Got a little bit hotter after that, but I got to salute the defense. I think the defense did everything that they needed to do. Thought number five, the Atlanta Falcons crowd. Why can't NRG at least be that loud? Like, I don't expect NRG to sound like Kansas City. I don't expect it to sound like Pittsburgh. But at some point, you got to get behind this squad. Now, they haven't earned the right the last couple of years to have fans in stands. But this Atlanta team, they got a terrible quarterback. They got it. They're pretty much on the same tier as the Texans. Atlanta has a reputation for being kind of a bad sports town. That was a pretty loud ass crowd that I would love to see Houston duplicate when they face the New Orleans Saints. But yeah, I really thought that crowd was legit, and I would love for the Texans to have that. Thought six. I'm seeing some people in the comments talking about and Brian, you can go in timeout, brother. I could make a video about this during the week. The game just ended. The Slowick at the end of halves is pretty impressive, and I would like to see Slowick eventually, and he's still new to this whole play calling thing. But I would like to see Bobby Slowick get to where he can kind of balance the aggressiveness he has at the end of the second quarter throughout the game, because it's no coincidence that the last 3 weeks, the Texans, with a relatively stagnant offense for the most part, although it wasn't that stagnant in Jacksonville, I guess it wasn't in Pittsburgh, but a stagnant offense today, and they're able to go steal 3 points and take the lead to the Atlanta Falcons. So I want to see Bobby Slowick kind of be able to balance that, but I thought Slowick did a good job of getting in his bag at the end of the first half, the last few days, specifically in this game. And I thought his drive at the end of the game was great. I know there's some people that might be a little bit disappointed in Bobby Slowick. I'm seeing I didn't really walk away from that game being disappointed. I actually thought he called a pretty decent game. And I thought the final series that Bobby Slowick had, I thought that was really, really, really impressive by Bobby Slowick. The offense was not great, but I didn't think it was awful. I'll just put it that way. Thought number 7. Dalton Schultz. We might see with Laramie Tunsil out there, that might be what they needed to get the tight ends involved. You saw Dalton Schultz with his best game, 7 catches, 65 yards, the touchdown. Quintariano, he made a play as well. Maybe the tight ends are getting freed up by the offensive lineman. It would be nice for the offensive lineman. It would be nice for the offensive lineman to maybe be able to run the ball a little bit, for sure. Jacob talking about going to games. Yeah, I don't fault the stadium for being empty the last few years at all. I don't think this is a crap product, though. Do you think this is a crap product? Do you think my other point is, do you think Atlanta's a crap product? Because I don't think it's like a great product. I think that the Texans, I don't think this is a crap product. They lost to an Atlanta team. Both of these teams are in the same tier-ish. Typically, when you go on the road, you're not going to be like an overwhelming favorite. We've seen, we just saw, I think the Ravens and Steelers in the week-to-week league. You have Baltimore not able to win in Pittsburgh. You have the Chiefs right now. They're not even that much of a favorite, and they're taking on they're going to Minnesota. And the Chiefs are only like a 4-point favorite. Like, it's not, I don't think this is a crap product. If you think this is a crap product, okay. I don't think it's a crap product at all. I think this is a pretty decent squad. I thought it was a relatively decent effort. I do really kind of, the biggest takeaway that I keep mentioning is I just don't really understand, and I'm extremely confused about the offensive line. I feel like I should feel better about the offensive line. That's just me. Let's hear what DeMeco Ryans had to say in a minute. We'll see what some other people have to say. Far from a crap product. I agree. I don't think it's a crap product. H-Town 94 says they got out coached. There were a couple of things that maybe you could point to, but I would like to know, like, what exactly do you think Atlanta did to outcoach the Texans? I did think it was interesting, and I don't think there was any harm on it. DeMeco's declining. He's keeping it 2nd and 8 instead of, or 3rd and 8 instead of 2nd and 18. I thought that was a little bit interesting. I don't really know, like, specifically. I would love to know, H-Town 94, what you think, what leads you to believe that they got just significantly outcoached. I'm not disagreeing with you. The prevent D up 1. I don't think that was a prevent defense, sir. I think you might need to go back and watch that. I don't think that was a prevent defense at all. I actually think they just sliced them. Might want to check that one out. I mean, they obviously were able to do what they wanted to do, but I don't think that was a prevent defense at all. Black Eighth Element, they were the better team today. I would agree, and I think these teams are both in the same tier. I think these are both like third tier, trying to get in 2nd tier squads. I didn't really think that there was anything going on there. Didn't capitalize when needed. We would have known we missed Shaquille Griffin. Schultz blocking is a 0 on Madden. Why would you not know that you missed Shaq Griffin? You're already without Stingley, so obviously you need another quality starting corner. Yeah, H-Town 94, check the tape, dude. I'll check the tape. You do that, sir. Justin, they weren't out coached as much as just outplayed. Our beat up secondary got outplayed. Their secondary stepped up. I agree. I think that, and you actually had, you had Graylin Arnold step up, make the biggest play that he's made. He's one of the guys filling in. Yeah, I don't think they really got outcoached. We got outplayed and we didn't score TDs. Facts. You kick 4 field goals, I think first time since 2021, you don't get in the end zone. Um, yeah, I would agree. I would definitely say um, they got outplayed. I think there were too many calls on offense that turned into negative yards that stalled. Um, Derek says it was definitely a soft zone, no blitzing. I mean, do you want to put Graylin Arnold man to man? I mean, I'm just asking. There's a difference between a prevent and a softish zone. Like, what do you want him to do? You want him to just line up and put him on Arnold Island? I mean, we got to realize like what they're working with out there. There's they're pretty thin there. So yeah, they were running zone. They've run a lot of zone. They've run zone 90% of the time, I think. I think that's the stat. I forget what it was, but yeah, I think they run that. But I mean it it's easy to sit there and say, well, they shouldn't have run this. I don't think it was a prevent. I don't think it was I don't think it was a bad game plan. Heartbreaking loss, damn near identical to the Longhorn loss. I'm in the trenches. Okay. Um, why'd you have to bring up the Longhorn loss? I'm just kind of messing around. I I don't I they got the Saints coming to town. The Saints have a really bad offense. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of handle that. They do need some secondary guys back. But we'll see. B Vol says the Texas had no pass rush today, too much pressure on a depleted secondary. I can agree with that. The pass rush has been relatively non-existent. I can 100% agree with that. Product is improved, but fans are still gushy from Easterby era. Need more than a pit win and some media love. What the are you talking about, dude? Media love? Goodness gracious. I mean, what are we talking about here? I'm gonna put your ass in timeout. First of all, the hell are you doing with that hockey thing? Media love. What we learned is that the Texans can't win games ugly. And I thought that would have been the most encouraging thing if they could go out there and win this game ugly. That's really what we learned today. They're close, but they're not as close as maybe we'd hoped. Don't want to emphasize it too much, but Miko declined 2 penalties. Very next play, we gave up first both times. I didn't understand that either. I was talking to someone on Twitter about it, and I wasn't trying to be a smartass, although so much so much has to do with the fact that I'm not DeMeco Ryans, but I did find it interesting that you decline a penalty to make it 3rd and 18 so that it can stay 2nd and 8. I'm sure like someone tried to tell me that there's like some stats that back up why you are or aren't supposed to do that. And I asked for them and they didn't really have them because I would wonder like what is the rate? Like what is the difference between 2nd and 18 and 3rd and 8? It just seems like 3rd and 8 would be a little bit different. Um there. Um Why were there 0 screen passes today? I feel like Pierce thrives in screenplays. That is interesting. There were a lot of screens last week against Pittsburgh. We really didn't see too many screens. I think that's a good observation by you. Manny, on the bright side, at least we have a QB and a team that plays hard. There's a lot of potential. I would agree. Victor wants to see Will Anderson get a sack. He's great at getting pressure, but we need those. Yeah, close but no cigar. Had some good plays in the run as well. There were a couple times where he came off the field on 3rd down too. There was one time where I think he had a TFL on 2nd down, and then I look over and Will Anderson's on the sidelines on 3rd down. He looked fine. It didn't look like he was hurt or anything like that. Kind of thought that was a little interesting. I wonder if do they think Grenard and Hughes are there? I don't know. I know they're using him inside. So I have no idea. There were screens. I don't know what this like reverse with Tank Dell is either. Nothing against Tank. I just didn't really understand all that. the Tank Dell thing. For sure. Didn't really get that. Atlanta secondary is solid. They played well. Texans also had Robert Woods nicked up with the rib. And then you had Tank Dell leave the game after he fell on his head. So there was that. As far as we'll hear from CJ in a sec, by the way, he's going to be there. We'll hear from DeMeco as well. To reset kind of the overall story, the first couple of drives actually went the Texans' way. They ended up kicking the field goal to go up 3-0. Immediately, you kind of saw the Dalton Schultz impact. CJ found him for 14 yards. And then they kicked the field goal on 4th and 1. Although there may be some people who are upset that they didn't go for it on 4th down, if you want to talk about coaching decisions. But a little bit close. Drive, I think, started at the 46. They decided to kick the field goal on 4th and 1. Some people may have issue with that. Do you agree or disagree with DeMeco's decision to kick the field goal? I'll let you guys cuss and discuss that. Atlanta then kind of responded with the Ritter TD. You had the big screen on 1st down. You had that reverse pass, little Bijan, and then Ritter dives to the end zone. Looked like he was almost about to fumble it. I think if that would have been an extra 2 yards, could have maybe made a case that the ball went out of he didn't have possession, but he kind of held it up on his shoulder. Texans cut it 7-6. This was the drive where Nico Collins found him for 25, and then you had Tank Dell for 22. Cut it 7-6, and then you had the DeMeco. This was something that I did make as a note. He declined the penalty on 3rd and 8. And then Ritter finds Pitts on the very next play to move the chains. So I had no idea what was going on there. Another observation, I don't know what was up with all these offsides. I know Mark Schlereth was really, really impressed with the fact that Desmond Ritter's hit puberty and appears to have a deep voice. But I think there's a lot of quarterbacks with deep voices. 4 offsides penalties in the first half seemed a little bit ridiculous. And I don't think we saw those in the second half. So I don't know what the hell was going on there. And then there were 2 big plays at the end of the first half. One of which probably would have mattered more had we gone back and saw that the Texans won. But the Falcons, close to field goal range, they had a personal foul that forced them to punt. And then Bobby got in his bag. The Texans convert their first 3rd down. Stroud to Tank Dell, who falls on his head, ends up leaving the game. And the Texans steal points again at the end of the half. They take the 9-7 lead, not 7-6, 9-7 lead into the half. Bad news, though. Tank Dell evaluated for the concussion. He fell on his head. Hopefully he's good to go next week. You really need him. Did see Mechie at the start of the second half. He moved the chain, so maybe we see a little bit more Mechie with Tank Dell out. You didn't have the Bijan Robinson fumble. The announcers are gushing over Bijan. He fumbles. Texans get the ball. They're unable to capitalize. Graylin Arnold then forces a fumble, which stops the Atlanta drive. And then later on, you have Atlanta. Bijan Robinson gives them the 13-12 lead. That little shovel pass. 2-point attempt is good. So that gives Atlanta the lead. And then it kind of got a little bit uncomfortable. So you're down 15-12. You can kind of feel that the defense needs to make a stop because if Atlanta scores, it's going to be done. Drake London makes that 33-yard catch. Actually, pretty damn good coverage by Steven Nelson. I know that Steven Nelson's an easy target for a lot of fans, but I actually thought it was pretty good coverage. Just a big boy catch by Drake London. But the Texans end up forcing Atlanta to settle for a field goal, which gives them the 18-12 lead with 7 minutes remaining. Bobby Slowick kind of gets in the bag. He starts off with the run with Pierce. Then Pierce lines up on the left side. You have that little slant play to Pierce, continuing to run the rock. Final play of the before the 2-minute warning. You have the run for 4 by Dameon Pierce. And then on 3rd and 9, Stroud finds Schultz for 18 to tie it. The extra point makes it 19-18. You have the second guessers immediately saying, well, they scored too early. They left them too much time on the clock. Well, I guess because another big play to London puts them in field goal range. Right out of the timeout, this was a little bit frustrating. The Texans get a too many men on the field penalty. You see Graylin Arnold kind of walking off the field, DeMeco looking like, what the hell is going on? And then you're just dying a slow death at that point. And we all saw how it ended. Not great, to say the very least. Let's from DeMeco Ryans. Let's hear what he had to say about the game. Texans lose. Texans fall to 2-3. DeMeco Ryans falls to 2-3 as a head coach. Let's hear from him now, live here in the locker room on YouTube. Texans postgame show.
Right, 3rd down wasn't good enough. Red zone wasn't good enough. We got to win in the situational. We got to win in our situational football. We got to try to get points there. We didn't. Credit to Atlanta, really good defense. They did a good job of forcing us to kick field goals in those positions. But just have to go back, look at the film, find a way where we can, operate better on 3rd down and find a way to get in the end zone.
On your final drive there on defense, with the passing defense, the rush throughout the game that you've been talking about, you to get more. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, they made a play. They made a couple plays there at the end of the game, and we didn't. So credit to those guys for stepping up, making a play when they had to.
You look at CJ and some of the things he did late in the game. Did you feel like the momentum was starting to come back?
Yeah, the momentum, it started to roll there late. I was proud of our offense for the way they drove down at the end of the game to give us an opportunity, right, to go out and finish and win this game, but came up short. Yeah, we were in position. We got to make plays, right? And that's what it comes down to, right? You're in position. Can you make plays, right? Tackling, right? Not allowing leaky yardage. When the pass does come out, a lot of leaky yardage there. Got to play with better eye discipline. But when you're in a spot and you have to make a play, a lot of contested catches that they came down with, and we didn't. So we just have to find a way, right, for playmakers to step up and make plays in those situations.
What do you feel like they did different to put your linebackers in so much fast coverage?
It wasn't anything different, right? A lot of play action pass game, which is what they shown, what we practice. Like as I said, like when you are in that position, right, you just have to make a play. Credit to Atlanta today. They made the plays in those situations, and we did it. So if you want to win games in this league, you got to step up and make plays, right? You got to make plays happen. I'm proud of the defense for, right, taking the ball 2 times, right, to give us opportunity. Right? But again, it's too many plays where we didn't come down with it. No, we had our opportunities, right? I think they did a good job of converting on some 3rd downs, and we didn't convert on 3rd down, and that's where the time of possession, right, that's where it flipped.
There were times you guys were trying to let's get some other pressure on them throughout the game. It looked like, and what were ways that you're trying to get whenever it wasn't quite there?
Yeah, we always mix it up defensively. So whether it's pressure, all right, dropping that coverage, we'll always continue to mix that up.
How was the outcome that you wanted, but what did you see from CJ on that touchdown drive?
Yeah, again, I mean, credit to him and the offense for when it was time to go and make a play, right? Even though it wasn't great throughout the game, we started a little slow there, but when it was time to go and finish, proud of CJ and the way he went down, drove the offense down and finished. The run game got going there to help us out. And just you saw the offense play more efficiently there, and they were able to put the ball in the end zone. Yeah, I think we have to get it going, right? We have to get it going. Right? Keep running it, right? We got to block it better. We got to run it better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Schultz another good day in the passing game, right? Last week came down with a touchdown again this week, so good outing by him.
Two turnovers from the defense. What did that mean at that point in that game? But also not being able to get points from that, how important that is.
Yeah, it was huge for us to get those takeaways. Something we talked about that was going to be right. That was going to be the key to us flipping this game, right? They've done a great job protecting the ball. We just had to take it away and actually get points off of it. We converted, I think, a field goal off of the first takeaway, but we had to punt after the second one. So it was just a matter of us trying to, again, we got to get in the end zone, got to be able to score some points off of those turnovers. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how Tank is going later in the week.
On that first offensive drive, Coach, was there any consideration to go for it on fourth down instead of kicking the field goal?
Yeah, I felt good about kicking a field goal. But there is a successful drive. I want to just come away with
I was
points.
fine with it.
Yeah, again, the guys are, as you would expect, guys are, disappointed. Feel like it's a game we could have had, but so I told our guys we had a lot of opportunities, right? A lot of chances for us to make plays. That wasn't the case, right? But who's going to step up and make those plays and those opportune moments? And we didn't do that today.
CJ overall, and then he extended his streak of no interceptions to start his career.
Right.
Your evaluation.
Yeah, CJ is continuing to do a really good job of us protecting the ball, protecting the team. He's continued to play well, right? And we just have to continue to play well around him.
Right.
Yeah, CJ.
Obviously, you guys lose today. How do you guys prevent it from kind of spiraling or turning into 2 losses, 3 losses, 4 losses? I guess prevent it to make sure that it's only this week you guys lose that.
We take it 1 week at a time, right? And it's about how you're going to come back, how you're going to prepare, right? After you lose, are you preparing the same way each and every week? It can't change, right? You can't get comfortable and relax once you win a couple games, right? Every week is tough in this league. So it's just a matter of, again, being on the details and the preparation. So I truly believe in, right? And we'll see how our guys respond this week.
Just with the lead, the opportunity to have the defense close one out. I mean, as a defensive coach, as you're looking at that, what's that opportunity there? And I know you have to reach back to the film to look at that, but what's kind of the decisive change that could go into that?
Yeah, when you're in those positions, it's 2-minute drives, right? You have to close it out by getting pressure on the quarterback, right? And you have to close it out by making a play when the ball is up in the air. We didn't do either one of those. You're not gonna win games if you play that way. All right, thank you guys.
All right, thanks, Coach. It's DeMeco Ryans. We'll hear from CJ Stroud shortly. The decision to go for it or not go for it on 4th and 1 first drive, had no issue with it. The decision to decline penalties that would make it 2nd and 18 instead of 3rd and 8, I don't understand. But look, I'm sure there's some sort of reason for that. I just don't. I don't think this is like the, Ray Lewis Baltimore Ravens or the 85 Bears to where, you can do that. But I don't have the numbers in front of me. I do find that a little bit interesting. I'm sure it's something he'll evaluate. Some people in here are being kind of hard on Bobby Slowick. I didn't think Bobby Slowick was terrible. I don't know why they can't run the ball. I think it's interesting that these offensive linemen, you pay them all this money and they come back and I don't know. Maybe y'all, hell, a lot of y'all watch more film than I do. I'm not a film watcher, so I don't pretend to be a film watcher. I think a lot of you who say you aren't either, but I just don't look at these offensive linemen and say, oh, wow, it's just so much easier with these guys out there. Unless you want to say that the Schultz thing is made possible by Landry Tunsil, that's cool. I don't think it's too much to ask to be able to run the ball a little bit better when you have $40 million worth of tackle salaries or whatever the hell it is out there. I don't. Is that too much? Like, is that too much to ask? I'm not sitting here saying that they need 2 Pro Bowlers, but when the highest paid 2-time offensive lineman comes back, and the other guy who you just paid, and he's at guard, being able to run the ball effectively, it just seems like it. It seems like it would be realistic to ask. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, so who knows? There's a lot of fake film watchers lately, but hey, it kind of is what it is. Let's hear from the quarterback. Let's hear from CJ Stroud. Texans fall to the Falcons 21-19.
It's a blessing, man. Just want to thank God, my Lord Savior Jesus Christ, for the opportunity to play in this great league against a great opponent like the Falcons. But yeah, man, it's tough. It's hard to go out like that. And yeah, I've been done bad in this stadium 2 times now, so I don't think it's funny. But it is what it is. Got to just go back to the drawing board and keep working. They were loading the box, making it really, really hard for us to run the ball. And I feel like we still try to withstand that and get positive runs, but it's hard to live in third and long. And I think today was probably our worst day in third down, and that's on me. I got to take completions and be better on third down. But it's hard playing from 3rd and 10 and plus in the NFL, and they were running different coverages and things like that. I feel like we handled that well on first, second down throwing the ball, but just some things that we didn't capitalize on. Those turnovers, our defense got us. We got to score points on that. We got to help our defense out. So overall, man, it's a lot to learn from. Some positive and negatives, just like every game. And it just sucks because you lose. But I think a lot of positive things happen, but got to get better in a lot of areas. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to execute in this league around the ball. You have to have a balance, and I don't think we did terrible. It's just once we got down to the red zone, we were taking negative plays, and then living in the third down world where that's tough. We weren't in like 3rd and short or like 3rd, 5, and manageable. We were in like 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, and those are tough. So I felt like we battled, man. We played a 4-quarter game, and it's tough to go out like that. But like then again, we got to help our defense out. Like they get 2 turnovers, big time turnovers, plus 45. We don't score, and then we get another turnover, and then we go 3 and out. Like that's tough. So we got to be better.
When you look at games like this, that's close losses. Can maybe something you learn a lot from, and maybe be a springboard for the next game or games after that.
Yeah, everything is a learning lesson. I don't really believe in taking L's. I think you only take an L when you don't learn from it. But our record would say as such. But I think this game will teach us that we can't put ourselves in a hole like that, keep shooting ourselves in the foot, and expect to win close games. And we had plenty of times to score points, and it's on me and to execute the offense at a higher level. So got to get back to the drawing board, but I definitely think we can learn.
Nah, you're fine, dude. It's not on you, sir. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's cool. I got close a couple of times. Those DBs are really good. I think every week I've almost thrown a pick, so it's cool. But I don't. Guys has been dropping them, I guess. But it's important to take care of the football. I don't think I put in harm's way too many times. The one today, number 3, make a heck of a play, playing 2 different routes, and drove on the ball. He's a really, really good player, Jesse Bates. I just want to let our offense know and let my coaches know they can trust me with the football, because turning the ball over is a recipe to lose. And our defense goes and gets 2, and we don't capitalize on that, and we don't win. And that's like not the margin, I think, of the turnovers. If you look back, if you get 2+ turnovers, you should win the football game. So it's tough.
A couple more guys. CJ, no one in that locker room was happy after this loss, but a lot of your teammates were saying that it doesn't matter, they're going to follow you, wherever you lead them to. What does that mean to you?
It means everything. I played a lot of football in my life, and I think that has paid dividends for me coming into these harsh environments and these situations. I played in the stadium before in critical situations, and um, I think I put like a certain dog in me that I don't flinch, and that really has testament to do with the guys around me, and then just the work that not only myself but we put in, and I put a lot of extra work in every week just to give our offense a chance and our team a chance to win football games. So I think guys seen that, and it's not just me though. Like up front, man, I think they play really stout, like against a real good defensive line and linebacker core. Our guys on the outside play very well, and I got to make some certain throws and be better. So overall to get better, but yeah, man, it feels good for those guys to look at me in my eyes and for me like not to flinch, and I let them know like, man, I'm gonna fight with y'all regardless.
You also, you said that for like the most pass attempts without throwing interceptions start a career. Passing Tom Brady and Dak Prescott into a Tom Brady. Obviously, you already elaborated on some of the accolades in that capacity, but what does it mean to be in company with guys like that?
It's cool. It's special. Those guys are special football players, and I know my path might be different than theirs, and they've like I've talked to Tom, like I've told y'all before. I've talked to multiple great quarterbacks. Tua was amazing to me in our joint practice. Gave me a lot of great feedback, and I talked to Dak in high school. I remember, and he gave me a lot of confidence then. So I appreciate the unity and the brotherhood like the NFL quarterback has, and um, I want to be great like they are, but I have my own path and my own way to do it. So I'm going to use those things that they've taught me and explained to me for my game. And if it works for me, it's good. But if it doesn't, man, I'll do something else. But I really appreciate those guys, and definitely want to be great like them one day.
What coverage is really the most? What were some things you were seeing that they were trying to do to close down pass plays?
Yeah, they were in a 6-1 front with really just crowding the line of scrimmage, linebacker roaming around, shooting gaps, and they were manning on the outside, playing quarters, a too-high shell. So it's hard to kind of take shots in that look, and I feel like our receivers did a great job still trying to get off press coverage. Okuda and AJ Terrell, two great defensive backs. I think they're a great tandem together. But they're in a quarters look, a lot of cover two, Tampa, not trying to let us take shots. And then they were switching up on third down, playing like a robber. Like they drop both safeties, run somebody through the middle. And I felt like I seen it well, but when they were calling things and sometimes our plays don't have the exact route that we would like to win in that coverage, it's tough. So it's hard on me. It's hard on Bobby to execute because you got to have man plays, man routes. You got to have zone plays, zone routes. And when they play certain coverages for you to just take the check down, I feel like we did a good job of just not being dumb and just, man, whatever they run, we're going to throw the ball deep. Like that's a recipe to lose. So we try to just keep chopping wood. I feel like we did that, but just got to score touchdowns in the red zone, not field goals. So.
Last one, Art. CJ, when you guys have the final touchdown drive on offense, I'm kind of curious what goes through your mind as you're progressing down the field and trying to lead the game when you drive? Like, what are you working through mentally?
Just want to know every play. I just want to do that one play right, and then move on to the next, and then bank those reps that you had in previous situations in the game. What coverages have they been running? If it's been more man, more zone, what kind of blitz look could it be? Like just trying to pick up little nuances throughout the game and using that every play. But man, just not blinking, like just having a mentality like, man, I won't be denied. I think our offense showed that right there. And it was good for us to kind of have a critical situation to go down and score and show that we can do it. And Dalton made a heck of a route, heck of a play. Our O-line played really stout all game. Tight ends helped out with that. Running backs tried to run the ball as best they could. Receivers played well. So, and then with Tank and them going down, that was tough. But man, it was a special drive, and wish it came out different. But we're gonna go back to the drawing board and try to get better. So, man, God bless.
Oh, there you go. I guess he's talking about the Ohio State Georgia game. Played a little bit better offensively, the Buckeyes that day than the Texans were. It is the locker room. It is the locker room post-game show. I am Landry Locker. Texans fall 21-19. A couple of final thoughts. Manny says we should have been up big at the half, but when you can't convert on third down and have to settle for 4 field goals, it's going to be hard to win. I agree with that kind of, but I kind of felt like they should have been down more at the half. For me, I thought it was actually pretty crazy that they were up 2. I like Pierce, but he's not a featured running back. I do wonder, I think the quarterback can make the offensive line look better. We've seen that the last 2 weeks with CJ. I think Damian Pierce is Marion Barber. I think he's a really good complimentary back. Barber I've told this to Damian Pierce, and he didn't hate the comparison. Barber made Pro Bowls not starting. I do think they need multiple backs, and you kind of saw Atlanta has multiple backs, and I like what Singletary's done a little bit. But yeah, I do. I do wish they could run the ball a little bit more. And if it's not the offensive line, what is it? L on the coaches today. I've seen people complaining about Bobby Slowick. I've seen people complain about DeMeco Ryans. I just don't really agree with that. Bottom line is Texans lost to a team in the same tier as them. The good teams find ways to win ugly. The Texans maybe are not a really, really good team right now. They're not as bad as they've been. That's the good thing. But maybe they're just not a really, really good team. And the secondary is absolutely beat the hell down. Plenty more time to get into this throughout the week. Tomorrow, Reaction Monday is going to be wild on In the Loop, Sports Radio 610, #1 show in Houston for a long time running now. If you've come through, please subscribe, like, ride along. And always remember, when it comes to this Texans stuff, we're all in this together. I'm going to go lay in bed because it's been a rough weekend for me, the Texas OU, this, etc. I'm going to rest up, watch a little bit of Astros and stuff. Appreciate you for coming through.
We in the locker room, Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital.